Hey guys, I'm gonna get going. I know you probably have a lot of other things you could be doing right now, so I take your time seriously. If you guys have a notebook or anything you could take notes on, that'd be great because I'm gonna go through some information pretty quick, just so you guys can jot some stuff down. And then I think the best way to do things, if you guys do have questions or if you have anything, just text me after. Feel free to call me or text me anytime if you've got any questions. That would just be more efficient than trying to go through and answer any questions after this. But I'm very open. If you do have anything you want to talk about after this, just let me know. I'm in Atlanta right now. We got a game at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, so I'll be up pretty early, but I'll get back to you sometime tomorrow morning at the latest. With this presentation tonight, I'm going to go kind of back and forth between pitchers and catchers, but I feel like it's going to be a good little give and take for both you guys, and I'll have information for both pitchers and catchers. So just hang with it. And as I'm going, if questions pop up, write them down on a notebook or whatever you got. And then after the meeting, like I said, feel free to reach out to me and send me those questions so we can talk about it. And then I'm sure the questions that you have, somebody else has as well. So that'll help somebody else out if I can answer those questions and send those out. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. Getting pretty comfortable at this. I don't have videos, but all right. Sorry, guys. All right. I can't see you guys right now. So I saw Blake, Hale, and Bryce. You guys were on this. Can you guys text me if everything's good? I'm going to get going. If just text me to let me know if everything's good, or if something's wrong, let me know so I can fix it. But I'm going to get going. But Blake or Bryce, one of you guys text me, please. All right. You're the man, Bryce. Thank you. Let me get that out. All right, guys. So like I said, I'm going to go back and forth between pitchers and catchers here. I'm going to start off with catchers. Guys, when you guys are catching bullpens, that's the big thing for you. that's where you learn about pitcher stuff. That's where you learn about their mentality. And the more bullpens that you guys can catch, the better it is. If you go into bullpens, Bryce Hubbard, after our game today, he caught a guy that he knew nothing about. It was his first time catching him. That's probably the most growth you're going to have, because you're catching a guy, you don't know what his stuff looks like. So you kind of got to react on the fly with what he's throwing, the shape of his pitches and everything. So the more bullpens you guys can catch, the better. So before you catch a bullpen as a catcher, you got to talk to your pitcher and you got to know what his plan is. So you meet in the middle of the mound in the plate, and you ask him if this is going to be a mechanical pen or an executional pen. Basically, an execution pen would mean you're not worried about mechanics. You've got a plan. Maybe you're trying to locate the fastball glove side. Maybe you're trying to flip over breaking balls for strikes. But if that's the plan, you're not worried about your mechanics. The other side of it would be it's a mechanical pen. You're not worried about the execution. You're not worried about your command. You're trying to get in your back hit more. You're trying to stay more centered to the plate, something like that, something with mechanics. So once you designate which type of pen it's going to be, then you can go forward. But you don't want to be working on a mechanical pen and then be very concerned with where each pitch is going and spotting up and all that. During your bullpen, you want to train, this is for catchers right here, train your skills for receiving, blocking, and footwork. So don't waste time while you're catching a pen. Every time you're out there, that's precious time. So you don't have to do it every pitch, but maybe every second pitch or every third pitch, you're working your footwork for a steal to second base. So you catch a pitch, you do your footwork, and then you pause after that. Same thing for blocking. If you're working on breaking balls and breaking balls in the dirt, instead of just trying to pick that breaking ball during the pen, pretend like you got a runner at third and it's a tying run and he can't score. Give honest feedback to the pitchers. So if they're throwing a pitch and they're throwing a slider and the slider's not doing anything, don't give that guy dishonest feedback just to make him feel good and tell him that it's a great pitch. Let him know that he's got to do something else to try to get more break on that pitch. Same thing if he's throwing a really good pitch, tell him, man, that's good stuff. Don't do anything different. Keep doing what you're doing. All right. And then post bullpen, give honest feedback on the performance. Grade the pen. That's a big one. Let him know what you thought, especially if you're a guy who's caught a lot of bullpens. You've seen a lot of good guys. Let him know, man, I thought that was an A pen today. Or be like, honestly, that was a D today. That wasn't really good. That stuff's not going to fly. That's not going to make it. And then keep notes. This could go for anything. I talked about it last week during the hitters Zoom. Keep notes on anything you do. If you're a catcher or a pitcher, after your bullpen, keep notes. Say anything that you feel like you want to keep with you going into your next pen. So as a catcher, maybe say, I didn't feel good on the low pitch. I didn't feel good about sticking that and bringing that back to the bottom of the zone. Or as a pitcher, maybe you bounced your changeups a lot. Say something you were feeling with your changeups. Just write something down. It doesn't have to be a full novel or a chapter. If you can write one thing after each bullpen or after each performance that you want to take with you to the next round or the next time you go out there, that's going to add up over time, so that maybe 5 outings later, now you got 5 things on your mind that you can work on and that you can think about and read to yourself before you go back out there, just to keep it fresh. All right, at the top, those are some goals, guys. Those are some traditional goals on a college level. The main ones that I would say is that 0-0 count, 65% strikes, and then the total strike percentage, 62%. Those are 2 easy ones to keep throughout the summer. Figure out what your strike percentage is on first pitch, and then figure out what your total strike percentage is. And that'll be a pretty good indication on how well you do this summer, if you can be above those numbers right there. Catchers, these are just some things that you can do during bullpens. You can emphasize the location with your glove early. So during a game, you obviously want to wait to set up till later to not give away location. But during a bullpen, you can really tell that pitcher, hey, like, we want this one here right now. So you can do that with your glove early. If you got a guy struggling, there's no need to try to set up on the inside corner and the outside corner. And this goes for games too. Set up right down the middle of the plate and get him to miss a little bit. The average miss on the big league level is about 6 inches, and that's at the big league level. So if you set up middle, the chances are he's not going to hit your glove right down the middle. He might miss a little bit in, a little bit away, but definitely set up middle for those guys who are struggling with command. Make missing up a positive for pitchers and catchers. I know it's kind of tradition and maybe little league. If you throw a pitch up in the zone for the coach or the catcher to yell, hey, get it down. Well, don't think of it that way, because a lot of the swings that are being taken these days, and this is why a reason that strikeouts are up at the major league level, a lot of those swings are taught to go really uphill. So if you're able to locate at the top of the zone, that's a really big plus. I know we got a guy on our team, Will Pryor, who I don't know if he's doing it on purpose, but for his first 2 outings, he's been upper 80s, touched low 90s, and all of his fastballs have been top of the zone, and kids have had no chance getting on top of those pitches. So if you're a guy throwing 80, low 80s, mid 80s, but you could locate at the top of the zone, a lot of kids are going to have a tough time catching up to that pitch. And I'll show you a chart later that'll help describe that. The next couple of things, creating an angle. So if you're a catcher, instead of setting up straight on the outside corner, you can create an angle with your body. And then you can also do it with your hands. If you want the pitch to start here, put your hand up here, and then you could put, I guess your glove would be here. But you can create this angle right here just to give the pitcher a visual of what you want him to do. That's pretty much the rest of that. And then the big thing, another common thing that people do, if you're missing short with a breaking ball or with a changeup, instead of staying at the plate, catchers, if you guys move back 5 or 10 feet, let the pitchers and catchers see you move back and just have them throw that pitch to you. Now you're just giving them a visual that's a little bit behind home plate. Hopefully he holds on to that pitch a little bit longer and he can get a feel for it a little bit more. So this right here, the main thing I want you to key on is that 1-and-1 pitch. This was big for the hitters Zoom too. So hitters, this is at a major league level, 329 and a 1-1 count. If you go to 1-and-2, that average goes down to 182. If you go from a 1-1 to a 2-and-1 count, it goes up to 342. So that shows the importance of that 1-1 pitch. And then also the 2-1 pitch. If you can get them to 2-and-2, they're back under 200. If it goes to 3-1, hitters are almost hitting almost 350 against pitchers. So obviously first pitch strike is key, but then the next one's to key on, guys. If you can get 1-1 and you get to 1-2, or if you're 2-1 and you go to 2-2, those are 2 really big counts where you can flip the script of the at bat. All right, we'll shift a little bit more to pitchers here. This is a basic pitching philosophy, guys. This isn't telling you exactly what you need to be, but my intent here is to hopefully give you a couple of things that you can write down that stick with you. All right. So as a pitcher, it's really hard to avoid contact. There's a small percentage of guys that are really good at pitching that can just get swings and misses all day. Okay. So know what type of pitcher you are. Are you a power guy? Do you have a dominant secondary pitch? Or the third one, are you neither of those two, but you can be really good at disrupting timing? So let's move on to our first 2 here. So the main thing as a pitcher is pitch to your strength. There's a lot of stuff with scouting reports out there, and you can go into an at bat with, all right, this hitter is not good at hitting outside pitches. But if that's not your strength, that's not what you want to go to first. So if you're a pitcher and you have a strength, hitting is hard enough, pitch to that strength until the hitter makes you change from that strength and go to a secondary pitch or a secondary attack. Okay. So after that, if your strength isn't working that day, you want to pitch to the hitter's weakness. Every hitter has a weakness. And these are the different things you want to know about the hitter. And catchers need to know this as well. So is he a pull guy? Is he oppo? Is he power? Is he slap? Know his speed. What is he trying to do? Is he a bunter? A lot of guys have a tendency with runners in scoring position that they get really jumpy. They get really excited. And they're trying, if they got a runner at second or third, they're trying to jump on that first pitch and do damage. So see if you have that type of guy. That's harder in summer ball. That's more apparent in college. And then scouting report. If you're a pitcher who's not coming in until the 4th or 5th or 6th inning, don't be in the dugout just sitting on the bench, spitting seeds, doing nothing. you're going to face those guys later in that game. So have a little bit of a plan of what those guys are like coming in. Just a couple of things with stance. If you got a guy who's open, sometimes those guys who are open, they struggle getting to the outside pitch. Sometimes the guys who are closed struggle getting to that pitch on the inside corner. So that's something to look at. Figure out, talk to your catcher. Is the guy on top of the plate or is he off the plate a little bit? What's his bat angle? So that's basically talking about that launch angle thing. Do you have a guy who is trying to lift balls? If you got that guy, then that's the guy you want to pitch in the top of the zone. If you got a guy who's more flat, more consistent swing, maybe that's a guy you try to go lower with or try to get to chase. But that vertical guy, if you see a guy from his takes who's really dropping his back shoulder, really trying to drive balls, if you can locate that fastball up in the zone, that can be a good weapon for you. So swings and takes. Look at their swings. Look at their weight transfer on their swings. That's a big one. If you get a guy who takes a pitch and he's really far out on his front foot and his front leg leaning forward, that guy's going to have a hard time hitting off-speed pitches. So same thing, if a guy takes a pitch and his hands go forward with that pitch, that guy's really going to struggle hitting the off-speed pitches. And then figure out what's comfortable, what's uncomfortable. If you throw a pitch inside, does he stay there and not move like he'll wear the pitch? Or does he jump out of the way? The guy who jumps out of the way, that guy's easy to pitch to. The guy who stands there and is willing to take that pitch on the inside corner if you miss, that guy's a little bit more difficult. All right, number 3. Situation of the game, we kind of talked about this, but figure out what a guy's trying to do. If they got a runner at third with 1 out and it's a tie ball game, he's probably trying to put the ball in play and just get that run in. So if you got infield in, if you could throw something off speed, get weak contact, get him out at home, or try to get him to chase. If a guy's on second base with 1 out, or if a guy's on second base with no outs and they're trying to get him over to third, if it's a right-handed batter, he's probably trying to go to the right side. So sometimes if you throw him a changeup or a curveball, he'll roll over to the third baseman on that pitch and he won't be able to do his job. And then who's on deck? So mainly in every lineup, there's probably one guy that you don't want to beat you. Figure out before the game or during the game who that hitter is. And if the situation calls for it, don't let that guy beat you. I know it's a game of pride and you feel like you're better than everybody, but there's also a time where you got a base open and there's a guy who's just good at what he does. You got to be smart in that situation. And then same thing, if a guy is on deck and the guy on deck is pretty good, you better know, okay, I'm going right after this guy. We see too many times there's a guy who's batting leadoff or he's batting second or third, and he's their best hitter, and we walk the guy before him to get to that guy. If you know that guy's on deck, you go after that guy that you're facing. You let that guy beat you before you walk that guy, put him on, and then the guy after him beats you. So know who that guy is. And then umpire, know what his strike zone is, know what he's giving you, and know how that matches up with your stuff. Just to be brutally honest, if you're a guy who locates on the outside corner and you're good with that fastball commanding it just off the plate outside, and that umpire is not giving it to you, you either got to keep pounding it and hope that he gives it to you, or as a coach, you got to realize, all right, this guy's not giving him that pitch today. We either got to try something else or go to another guy. But pitchers can make a living. If you're a command guy and you figure out what the umpire is giving you, try to build off that, and your catcher will work with the umpire to keep getting that pitch. And to build off that, for catchers here, if you've got a pitcher who's really good at something, make sure the umpire knows what you're doing. So for example, if we got a pitcher who's going to try to pitch at the top of the zone, it's not very common for umpires to call that a high strike, or it's just not as natural. So what I would do if I'm a catcher, I'd be like, hey, we got this guy come in. He's going to throw fastballs at the letter. He's going to pound that zone. Like, we need that pitch. We need that pitch at the letters because that's where he's going to live. If the umpire knows that going into the at-bat and into the inning, he'll be ready for it. He might give you that pitch. Same thing with inside. If you got a guy who's going to try to establish the inside corner, let the umpire know. Be like, hey, this is what we're going to do. We need that pitch, and we're going to get you home early. We're going to get you to dinner. If you just put up your right arm and call a strike here, we're going to put it there every time, but you got to give us that pitch. General rules here. I'll let you guys take notes. I won't hit on all of these, but for pitch calling for catchers, basically what this is saying is throw strikes, guys. It's very black and white. At the big league level, at the college level, 68% of balls put in play are outs. A good average for a college hitter is 320, 330. So by my math there, that means 67 to 70, 65 to 70% of the time they're getting out. So don't put them on automatically. Go get them. You want 2 out of 3 first pitches in the strike zone. So if you get up 0-2 and you want to try to be good with a pitch to get the strikeout, that's fine. But general rule, get 2 out of 3 first pitches in the strike zone. Don't be scared to double and triple up on pitches in location. We had a situation today. We had our lefty, Cooper Castile, going, and his curveball was on. And he was throwing to their 3-hole lefty, and he threw curveball, curveball, curveball. The kid did not look good on the curveball. So don't get, if you're a catcher or a pitcher and a kid looks bad or takes the first 2 pitches for strikes, don't feel like you got to change it up. Make him prove to you that he can hit that. And Blake Hale did a really good job calling pitches today. He just kept throwing what the guy couldn't hit. And he tripled up on pitches in the same location, same pitch that guys just couldn't hit. The ladder situation technique there, it works for in and up. So if you throw a pitch down the middle, strike 1, and then you throw a pitch top of the zone for strike 2, feel free for that third pitch. Just throw that third pitch, keep going up the ladder, go out of the zone. Same thing for outside. If you locate on the outside corner, strike 1, go a little bit more outside for strike 2. Now that hitter feels like he's got to protect, go even more outside for that third strike. Be aware of the timing and tempo of pitcher. If he's getting in the same rhythm every single time, both the pitcher and the catcher, you guys got to be aware that you got to switch things up a little bit. Even if there's nobody on base, hitters, it's all about rhythm and timing. So if you come set and then pitch in the same tempo every single time, hitters are going to start locking in on it. What's really hard as a hitter is if you come set, you hold for 3-4 seconds, you get them really uncomfortable in the box, and then you pitch. That's big time. Then the next time you hold and pitch really quick, now they're never getting comfortable with their timing. I know this is a lot here, but this is a lot of good stuff for pitchers. First thing, command glove side, these first 2 ones. You want to live away, but you got to pitch in to win. I'll tell you this, guys, against bad teams, against not good hitting teams, you could locate on the outside corner and you'll probably win a lot of games. If you want to be able to pitch at the college level and the professional level, you need to be able to pitch to both sides of the plate. So you start facing a good team with some bigger kids that can cover that middle away pitch, they're going to start doing damage on it if you only pitch middle away. So I would say live away, show that you can do that, but you got to be able to come inside every now and then to keep guys off balance and to keep guys in check. Okay. I just said it. If a guy takes a pitch, repeat at the same time. All right. Especially if he didn't look on balance. So same pitch, same location, repeat it if he took it, because they're probably looking for something opposite after that. Very delivery time. We already hit on that. This is something kind of uncommon, or I guess against what you might think, but ahead in the count, stay hard. All right. A lot of the high school mindset, if you're a hitter and you get down 0-2, a lot of those better hitters are going to start looking for breaking stuff. So if you get ahead in the count, it makes your fastball even better because they're going to be more defensive. At the same time, if you get behind in the count and you feel like you're facing guys who are really gearing up on that fastball, that's where it becomes very big and very crucial if you can flip over that breaking ball or that changeup for a strike. It doesn't have to be a great pitch. You just got to be able to flip it over. So there's some more stuff. Same thing I just hit on, pitches to do for hitters counts and defensive hitters counts. Change the eye levels. So if you get that curveball down and you get him to chase that, go back to the top of the zone on the next pitch. Change speeds off of the changeup and fastball. You can make a living off of this, guys. And I'll add breaking ball into that too. Don't throw, if you're a guy who throws your fastball from 83 to 85 every pitch, that becomes really, really easy to hit as a hitter. Because if we see it coming out at the same speed, we know exactly what we're getting. But if you're a guy that throws one fastball at 85 and then you have the ability to throw a BP fastball at 80, 81, that's what's going to get guys to ground out rather than being on time for your fastball. Same thing with your changeups. Take a little bit off and add a little bit to your changeup. And then with your slider or your curveball, if you can throw a hard one, you don't have to throw two different pitches. So it's hard enough to perfect one pitch. Don't feel like you have to throw a slider and a curveball. But if you could throw one slider that's more of a get me over at 70, 72, and then you can throw that hard breaking slider at 74, 75, that's all you need, guys. You don't need 6 different pitches. Just be able to add and subtract from the 2 or 3 pitches that you have. Elevate the fastball. Don't use all the weapons early if you don't need them. So you probably face the best hitters you're going to face in that first inning. So don't waste it, or don't feel like you have to save it if you're not going to pitch too long. Show everything. But at the same time, if you're in high school and you're trying to go deep into a game, if you don't have to show everything you got early, maybe save it for later. These are some good ones here that I especially love for summer ball. If you're a guy coming out of the bullpen, especially if you're a sidearm guy, be ready to go once you get into the game. Throw 2 pitches off the mound, max, and then tell the umpire you're ready to go. There's nothing worse or more uncomfortable as a hitter than a guy coming into the game that they haven't seen yet. So why would you throw a 7 to 8 pitch warm-up where they get to see your fastball, slider, changeup? You show them everything. Why not come in, you're ready to go, have the mindset that you don't need warm-up pitches, and you're ready to go without even showing them your arm angle or anything like that. It's only going to make you more effective. All right. And then last thing at the bottom there, 2 strikes or 2 outs. If you're in the dugout as a pitcher and you've had a long inning, once there's 2 outs, have some sort of 2-out routine where you're in the dugout or you're outside the dugout with some bands that you can come in and you're fresh. This is the chart I was talking about earlier, guys. So imagine you got a right-handed hitter in the box here. That's what the velo looks like to the right-handed hitter. So if you're able to throw up in the zone, notice the time they have to be, the quickness they have to be to that pitch is a lot faster. So if you throw a fastball up and in for them to get to that pitch, if you throw that pitch 82 miles per hour in that top right corner, to them, it's actually 86 miles per hour. And vice versa for the outside corner. So even though it's harder to kind of hit and get extended from the body, they've got more time to see that pitch that's on the outside corner. So they technically have a little bit more time to let it get deep and the velocity is a little bit lower. But that's why that pitch at the top of the zone can be so effective, because the velocity is a lot quicker, because their timing to get to that pitch is pretty quick. And you can see why pitching in is so important, because guys have to be very short to the ball. And with wood bat, guys, mess around with pitching inside, because you're going to make it expensive for a lot of summer, or for a lot of parents this summer, if you can throw inside. Okay, I'm not going to go through all this, guys, but I'll tell you what it is. So this has been a big problem this summer from the games that I've been to. I've heard the argument about guys, man, I'm just kind of quiet. I'm a leader by example. It's just, I'm quiet. I do my job. I work hard. I do what I can. If you're a catcher and that's your mindset, then you should probably change your position to right field, left field, maybe first base. Because when you step between the lines, if you're a catcher and you're a quiet guy that doesn't want to talk a little bit, you're just not going to make it very far. And that's just being super blunt, but that's what you guys need. If you don't like to talk, if you're not a motivator that can talk to your pitcher, that can talk to your position players and get them motivated, then catching's not the position for you, because you're the only guy that can see the whole field. Everything's in front of you. You're involved in every single play. You have to be vocal. You have to be able to get the pitcher going. And all this stuff here, these are just ways that you can communicate. It sounds dumb, but these are things that you can study and phrases that you can say between pitch. So 1 pitch at a time, good pitch, good spot. After every pitch, there's something verbal or nonverbal with communication that you can be doing to your pitcher, to your infielders, that you need to incorporate as a catcher to keep them in the game. Also, if you want colleges to recognize you, you'll be doing this stuff. If you want to fly under the radar and just be back there, you'll just catch the ball, toss it back to the pitcher. Nobody will notice you if you're doing that. Same thing. And then I've got some stuff for your protocol with umpires. I'm really big on this. I talked with our 17U prime team about this. they're not allowed to talk to the umpires. These guys that are umping these games in the summer, it's not their only job. They do multiple different jobs and they work a lot of the time, and they're hot out there on the turf in Atlanta. The last thing you want to do is piss them off. So if I feel like I need to talk to them, I'd talk to them as a coach. But as a pitcher, catcher, and as a team, the worst thing you can do is make that umpire not be on your side. Okay. So the main thing with that, if there's ever a pitch that shows him up as a catcher, one, as a pitcher, don't throw your arms up, don't show him up. As a catcher, if the coach asks where that pitch missed, never put your hands up and say it was right down the middle. Always say it was a ball, it was outside, whatever. And then in the dugout, talk about where that pitch was. But never show up an umpire, especially in these summer ball games. Just keep them on your side. It can only help you if they like you. And then I got more of this. You guys text me or email me individually. I've got a Word document of all this stuff. I'm running out of time and I don't want to waste your time going over this. But if you're really interested in this information, text me. That'll let me know that, you've been locked in and you want to hear about this. So I'll send you all that. All right. That's all I got, guys. Let me stop sharing this. Sorry that I flew right through that, but I really appreciate you all being on here, man. And I know there's a lot you can be doing on a Thursday night. And like I always say, if there's anything you guys